everyone, it's Amanda from Loops and Love Crochet, and today I'm working on this new tote bag pattern. You can find the Sandy Sunset Tote crochet pattern on the blog loopsandlovecrochet.com, and today this video tutorial is going to show how to work the zeros and crosses stitch that you can find in each of these sections in the body of the bag. And if you're curious on making the rest of the bag, I do have the written pattern on the blog as mentioned, so the link is in the video information on this video here. I do have video tutorials for working up crochet bag bases as well as handles on my YouTube channel, so if you're interested, make sure you check those out. And then this tutorial will be specifically for the zeros and crosses stitch in the middle of the bag here. For this crochet pattern, I'm using this hipster cotton yarn here in these fun colors, as well as a 4mm crochet hook, but you can use this stitch with any yarn and hook that you prefer as well. Okay, so for the zeros and crosses stitch here, it's formed in 2 rows here. So you can see that I have 5 sections of the zeros and crosses stitch, and then I have some rounds of single crochet in between here. So I'm going to start a new section of the zeros and crosses stitch. So I'm going to show you how that works up. So I'm just going to flip my bag over here to where I left off. I'll insert my hook there. And then we're going to start with a chain 2. And then we're just going to work double crochet stitches with a chain in between and skipping the next stitch. So I'm just going to yarn over, insert my hook into the first stitch, the same one as the chain. And I'm going to complete a double crochet stitch. So yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And now I'm going to chain 1, skip this next stitch, and then I'll complete another double crochet stitch in the next stitch. So there we go, and then again I will chain 1, and then I will double crochet again, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. So you'll just be repeating double crochet with a chain 1 in between and skipping a stitch between each double crochet. And this is making up the zeros part of the zeros and crosses stitch here. So these are the zeros, these little spaces here. So I'm going to finish the round working those double crochet stitches with a chain in between each one. And then when we get to the end of the round, I'll show you how the next section works for the crosses stitch. It's like the crisscross double crochet stitch, but a little tiny bit different. So I'll show you that one once I finish this round here of the zeros part of the zeros and crosses. Okay, so here is my finished round of these double crochet chain 1 stitches forming the zeros of the zeros and crosses stitch. So I did my last double crochet, and I just wanted to remind you, make sure that you chain 1 before you join to the top of the first double crochet stitch. I'm just making a slip stitch in there, and there we go. So now we're going to start making the crosses. So I'm going to start by chaining 2, and these crosses are going to be worked into the spaces between the double crochet stitches, with the exception of the first double crochet stitch. The first cross is going to be kind of worked half in the chain and half in the top of the double crochet. And that's just so that we can keep our stitch count the same and not lose any stitches going around the bag. We want to keep it at 108 stitches as the previous rows too, or rounds. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to yarn over, and I'm just going to make a double crochet in that chain space. So I'm going to skip that top of that first double crochet where we made our chain 2, and I'm going to go over to this chain space here. And I'm just going to make a double crochet stitch. And then now I'm going to come in, I'm going to work another double crochet stitch into the stitch that we skipped here. Now in the normal crisscross stitch, you would just come in front of the other one and insert your hook into the top of the stitch here. But these cross stitches in the zeros and crosses stitch are going to be made by going behind the first double crochet. And that just changes which one lays over top of the other for the crosses. So if you would rather just yarn over and make your next double crochet just like that, that's fine too. But the ones in this stitch go in behind. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go behind this first double crochet to insert my hook into the top of this stitch here. So yarn over, and I'm going behind the first double crochet and inserting my hook into the stitch, and then I'm pulling up a loop, and then I'm going to complete my double crochet as I normally would. So there's the first cross there. And then again for the next one, I'm going to make a double crochet in the next chain space. I'll skip this one for now. I'll go over to this next chain space and make my double crochet stitch. And then now I'm going to work behind this double crochet to make the next double crochet in this chain space here. So I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to go behind that double crochet and insert my hook into that chain space, pull up a loop, and we're working behind that other double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So as you can see, the second double crochet in the cross stitch here is behind the first one. And the chain space has one of the double crochet stitches from one of the crosses and then one of the double crochet stitches going the other way for the other cross stitch there. So you can see that each chain kind of section is used for 2 double crochet stitches going opposite directions there for the 2 different crosses. So again, we'll make a couple more of them. So I'll yarn over and I'll make my first double crochet in the next chain space. And then yarn over, go behind the double crochet to insert my hook into the first chain space there. And then I'll just repeat that. So you're still inserting your hook into the stitch as you normally would, you're just coming behind the other double crochet stitch to do it. So it kind of adds a little twist to the regular cross double crochet stitch. And then you're just going to work these all the way around to the end. So there we go, there's 6 of our cross stitches here. So we have the zeros and then the crosses here. So that will be continued the whole way around the bag. So I'll finish up this round here and then I'll meet you back at the other end and then I'll show you how to work those single crochet stitches. Okay, so I just have one more crossed double crochet stitch left to complete here of this round here. So you'll go right up to that last chain space. And then you're going to join to the top of the first double crochet from that first cross there with a slip stitch. So there we go, there's the round of the crossed stitches. So we got our zeros and our crosses. And now we're going to work on our round of single crochet. And as you can see, I did 3 rounds of single crochet between each of the sections here, and that was just my preference for working up this bag. I thought it would help it keep it shaped a little bit better if it had the single crochet sections in between. But you can work however many rounds of single crochet in between. If you're using this stitch for a different pattern, you might only choose to put 1 round or row of single crochet in between each of the zeros and crosses sections here. So you can check out the pattern on the blog, but you can kind of play with the single crochet rounds as much as you want there. And as you can see too, if you're making this bag, the seam here where the joins are, it kind of moves at a little bit of a diagonal here. It's not that noticeable of a seam, but you can kind of see it does travel. So if that's happening with your bag, that's totally normal too. So to make these single crochet stitches, I'm just going to start with a chain 1, And then I'm just going to work a single crochet stitch in the top of each of the stitches here from the double crochet stitches that are forming those crosses. So it's just a simple one single crochet in the top of each stitch. So you're just going to do that all the way around, and I'm going to be doing that for 3 rounds. And then I'll be working up the top of the bag, so I'll be adding the handles on. And if you're curious how to work handles onto a crochet tote bag, make sure you check out that video tutorial and then also the written pattern for this bag specifically. As well, you can also check out the video for working up crochet tote bag bases. You can watch the video tutorial and then use the written pattern on the blog for this pattern to work up this specific bag pattern here. So there's my single crochet stitches. So they're just going to look just like that in the top of each stitch, and then 3 rounds of those, and then the handles. So I hope you found that tutorial for working the zeros and crosses stitch helpful. And if you're interested in making this bag pattern, remember to check out the written pattern on the blog, loopsandlovecrochet.com. And then you can also check out those 2 other videos that I mentioned for the handles and the bag base on this YouTube channel, and I'll link those in the information of this video so that they're easy to find. Please follow this YouTube channel, subscribe, and follow Loops and Love Crochet on Facebook and on Instagram. Thanks for watching.